Welcome to the channel again today. We're going to be looking today at the planting some peas. Going to do some hoeing to kill some of the weeds that's coming up. Now here's where I planted the onions, and if I remember I'll show you the onions. It was not a good crop of onions. I really don't know why. Where that's just those spots got a nutrient deficiency to it. I had grown onions here before, and I had like 6 rows across here. These 2 rows did bad, especially this ones on the end, and the other did really, really well. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. So I'd rotated through. I thought, well, I'll come back to it. I only had enough room for these 2 rows, so I put them in, and got a bad. So I don't know if it's the soil. There was a worm that got into them. First time I ever seen the worms eat the tops out of the leaf or stalks, whatever you want to call them, off the tops of the onions. So that knocked some of them down. About half of them or over half of them either died or had flopped over, so that's why we hadn't pulled them in. Because normally when they start doing that, you're done. They're not going to get any bigger, so you might as well plant something else. But anyway, so I went and harvested all those, set those over there to be drying out today, and then I'll be bringing them in later this afternoon. And then, since my other one broke, I use this here to make my trench, make my furrow. I don't really like it as well, but I wish there was one in between. To me, this is a little bit too short and narrow. I wish it was a little bit wider, but anyway. And then I took and I put about 3 cans of water. I ran it down the trench because it does dry up a lot. You do want to be careful. Your peas do not like to stay wet, so you don't want to soak them overnight or anything like that, or they'll rot on you. I don't think it hurts to put a little bit of water on them. Got my planter here. That thing gets in my way. So that's just got this, I don't really need that. So I plant them a lot thicker than I normally do because these are 2025 seeds. So I don't know what the germination is on them. And these are, I don't think I said last time, the Mississippi Silver Skin peas. And you just go along here and drop the seeds in there. That way you don't have to bend over, you're not bouncing all over the place. These are a brown crowder pea. I do like the flavor of these, better than a black-eyed pea. It's kind of funny, people in the South, when you start talking about peas, you say, if you say black-eyed peas, so we don't like black-eyed peas, we like purple hull, or we like brown crowder. Where people up north will call them all black-eyed peas. And I kind of did, but I got corrected really quick. And they said, oh, we don't like black-eyed peas, we like purple hulls. Which, we kind of call them all black-eyed peas. So that's why I started calling them cowpeas. Some of them call them field peas. They're all the same. There is a cream pea. I don't really like the flavor of them. Some people think they're the greatest in the world and love them. And that's just, you have to try things out to see how you like them. That's why I say I like the brown crowder peas best. Other people don't like them. As I say, it's all right. People's got a right to be wrong. Because we all feel that way. It's not that I think I know everything, but most people I know have pretty strong opinions, and I don't mind people having strong opinions as long as you realize your opinion may be wrong, even though you have a strong opinion about it. But some people, they just believe that this one way is the way to do it, and they'll never try anything else. Or I'm always open to, like I always got down my bent over planting these seeds. And I tried this, and I think, man, it's a way easier way of doing it. It don't cost much money. I mean, I had this pipe just laying around. Well, I said I'll drop that seed there, I guarantee it'll come up. And like I say, so I could have, if I would have planted them right after I dug up the trench, I might not need to put water in it. I have had problems with the mole crickets. I'm hoping I don't have problems this time. But I did have some people think that it might be the onions did not make because of nitrogen, and that's a good guess. But I had put down some urea, 45%. I fertilized them pretty heavy. And if you look at the potatoes, They got bit back almost all the way to the ground because of the freeze on March 20th. And they grew back really well, nice dark leaves. They looking great. And I fertilized, actually probably fertilized the onions more than I did the potatoes. So don't think it was a nitrogen problem, even early on. I realized that, and I was trying my best to get, now it was kind of dry, and we didn't get the normal amount of rain we normally get. So that, I mean, that could have been it. But I try not to be like my mom. If something dies, because they've got goats, and if a goat dies, she will worry herself to death trying to figure out what killed it. Sometimes things just die. You don't know why. And Daddy bought her a veterinary book. See, that was a mistake, because she'll look over that veterinary book trying to figure out why that goat died. And there's really not necessarily a good reason. Chicken, same way. Sometimes the chicken will die. It was healthy the day before, and the next day it's dead. And no real reason why. Sometimes you just gotta say it died. Now I'm not gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna lay that to mark where I was at. And we're gonna go back up. Here's where the onions are over here. that I've got laid out. So I mean, none of them are big as a baseball. And this is for 2 rows of them. Some of them are, you know, this one here is not bad size. You know, if that was my small ones, I wouldn't complain. But that's my big one. So, you know, next year we'll try something different. I'm probably going to put them in a raised bed. Try not to step on them. Go over here. And this is going to be one of the last times I'm going to be able to go out here and control my weeds in these watermelons. So I'm going to look really close. I've got my hoop hoe. I've already ran my wheel hoe down it a couple of times. Hadn't since the last rain. I will run it down there again. And you see the weeds just kind of go underneath them. And all my weeds should be right in this row. And that's a plum tree. Don't need to be there. Like I say, not a whole lot of hoeing needs to be done. Just make sure you don't get the watermelons. See that? I had a long stretch here with no watermelons in it. In fact, I can go like that and it'll be easier. But then I get one. You know, when you get one like this, you may just want to come down and pull it up because you don't want to, you know, mess up your watermelon. Even get the little bitty guys. Because like I say, once I go through this time, let's see. Okay, gotta be careful. See, because this in here is already starting to run. And what he'll do, see, you can run all the way out to the other end, and then you can't run the wheel hoe through here. But see, there's not any watermelons through here. So I can just go through here and clean all this up. Okay. Now, we're not going to do all this, but this row was Crimson Sweet. This row was the Orange Glow. This row here was the, it's a Crimson Sweet Orange Glow cross. I forget the actual name of it. I didn't get a whole lot to come up on it. This one here is Sweetie Pie. It's a smaller watermelon. And like I say, there's no seeds up here, but I did get a few coming up over here. So I'll get a representation. And those there is a Florida Giant. So that's what's growing up here. Let's go look over here. This is my muscadine European grape cross, and I did have a string across here and it broke down, so now I got just a mass of stuff growing there. It has made grapes in the past. I'm just gonna make any this year. Blackberries are trying to take it over. I need to go in there and straighten it up. These things here do not make good posts going this way. You need something to anchor them on each side, which I did not do. And then I got our cucumbers growing over here. They need to be weeded also. And I'll do that here in a minute. And I guess this little section here, I did mow this over here. Got fire ants right here. Always got fire ants. And you step on them and they give like that. And I went to West Texas and I would step on a molehill and I'd jerk. And they started making fun of me. And I said, when y'all get fire ants, you'll be jerking too. Because when you feel that earth goes down, that's a lot of times that's fire ant mound, and you know to move right quick. And there's the tomatoes. I will be doing a video on those separately because that would take a long video to do that. Need to string them up and try to get them back into. They kind of went crazy on me. We had a couple of days. We were staying in Houston, and a day in between it, and we had church, and just have not got around to getting all this stuff done. I will say this here is my jujube tree, wild jujube. They come up from a root sprout. It's got blooms on it. I need to go there and kill it. Those things have been a pain. So if you ever grow a jujube tree, you're going to have a lot of sprouts. Just realize that. So I would try to make sure you like the fruit. I did not ever try them as dates, so that's one thing that could be different. You know, they may make great dates. I don't know. We didn't dry any. We just tried to eat them as fresh fruits, and they were candy jar and honey jar, and it's not candy jar. It's honey jar. Anyways, a couple of different ones that are really the sweeter ones. It wasn't Lee and Lang. Lee and Lang was ones that was made for processing for dates. I was trying to get the ones for fresh, and I did. I bought the right ones, but we just didn't particularly care for them. So anyway, everybody's different. Anyway, thanks for watching today, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.